Hi, Pat from Northwoods, ready to move on to card number 2. It's summer, so we are going to do our Gerbera Daisy vase. So we're going to pull out the second card, and then we're going to follow our step-by-step instructions on this card. So step number 1, again, we're going to use our background color, 533. It's a periwinkle blue. Scribble a generous amount all the way around the entire image, but not below the pot. Okay, so 533. Next, we're going to take a wet paintbrush. Again, I'm going to use the larger one and just take in a circular motion, move that color all the way out to the side. So start at the image and then just keep moving the color until it totally blends out. Continue to move it out all the way. Add a little bit more water when you need to. And all the way around. So as I continue to do this, you can see on step number 2 what I have done when I've blended it all the way around the entire image, but again, not below. So that's 533. And again, the main thing, not too much water so you don't end up with any watermarks. Okay, next step, we're going to take our yellow marker. Again, I put a base of yellow underneath just to make some of my colors brighter when we color them out. I typically don't blend the yellow. So if you look at your color copy, you can see I'm putting some yellow way below the base, not exactly right under this pot. You're going to color the pot, all of the leaves, all of these little flowers, the hollyhocks here, and the leaves, and then the gerberas completely. So 055, a generous amount of yellow over that. Next, we're going to do our leaves, and to do that, again, I'm going to use a darker green, 177, and I'm going to add a little bit of green to each of the leaves all the way around wherever I see leaves. And also, where I put the yellow down below, I'm going to add just a little bit of green in that area. And then what I'll do, this time again, I'm going to use a smaller paintbrush and just pull out the leaf or the green over each of the leaves. So all the way around, kind of these leaves hide in here. Okay, and in this area too. And then down below, and again, sometimes easier when you're want more of a wispy look, we're just going to add some green with the larger brush and just pull that out. So just like so. So you lose your yellow. Okay. Now we're going to kind of take each flower a step at a time. So on the bluebells here, I'm going to take a marker color 452, add a little bit of blue, not completely color those in. And that's 452. Make sure your paintbrush is clean. And then just doesn't take much, just add a little bit of water to soften those bluebells. Okay, so there you go on that. Okay, ready to move to step number 2, our second picture. What we're going to do is take a marker. It's a different orange than what we have been using. It's 905. It's got a little bit more red in it. And I'm going to have you color part of the middle of the Gerbera Daisy over the yellow, this area, and then also over the yellow hollyhocks. So generous amount over that yellow. And then we'll take your wet paintbrush and then pull that out over this. Make that a really bright, pretty Gerbera Daisy. And then also over the hollyhocks, you're going to soften that. Again, if you find it's not bright enough, Let the paper dry a little bit and add more color. Okay, so just like that. Now we're going to take a much lighter orange. It's 933. And you're going to color the center of the gerbera daisies and close to the base of the petals of the far right. So you're going to add some of that lighter orange here and here, outside here. And you're going to also color here and here. And then also add some over the tiny flowers, like that. And then with your wet paintbrush, you're going to soften these flowers here, the tiny ones. And then also you're going to pull the color out over the yellow. So it won't be nearly as bright as that other gerbera daisy. So it gives you just kind of a contrast of some different oranges here. So using orange that's a little more red. And that's where we're at with that. So again, soften that. And then you're ready to move on to step number 3. Now we're going to deal with this pot. You're going to color the outside of the pot and down below. So add 947 over this area. And again, our artist Jean Artisan puts these nice little shading lines in here to show you where you want to add your color. And then with your wet paintbrush, you're going to soften that and pull that color right across so you get a beautiful shaded pot. Just like that. I'm actually going to back up to the second step. When we had out the color for the bluebells, I also put a little bit down below. Sorry about that, I didn't bring that up. Add a little bit there. And then we're just going to soften that with a wet paintbrush. Then we'll go back to our flowers. Like that. Okay, now we're going to make one of our gerberas red. So I want you to take and add 847, which is a deep red. Add some color down over the petals, not completely pulled out. And then take your smaller brush and pull that out. Again, we're making these gerbera daisies can be any color, so we're going to make a nice variety of colors with that. Now you've got a couple mums on here, and when we were in class, I was going to let you use either, it's two more kind of purpley reds, either a 665 or a 685. And over this, just add a layer of that color. You can use either one, but again, it gives you another different variety of kind of a pinky purple color. And then we're going to soften that with your wet paintbrush. Okay, almost done. The last step, we really just have one flower left. And we're going to make that mum a purple color, which we're going to use 606, which is kind of my go-to purple. Add a generous amount over that remaining flower. And clean your brush out and pull that out. And again, if you find you're not getting a lot of differentiation in that color, I'm just going to add a little bit of water on top of that and dab a little bit off, just so you get a little bit better look with that flower. Okay, so that is the coloring completely done. Now, the next step, what I did is I cut this out ahead of time for you. You're going to mount it on your base card. I used a Commodore blue color. Again, everything to make the image pop. I used 3 different colors of Bo Bunny vintage double dot paper, and then our glossy gold glitter paper, and then a base blue card. So from here, we're going to do some glittering. Now I have 3 glitters out in this for this card, and these are 3 glitters from Spooky Harvest set of Northwoods: Key Lime, the green, Melon, orange, and Banana, which is our yellow. So we're going to add some orange over the orange, the Melon, some on here, in the center. So again, you see I'm not adding much glue at all. It's all about just accenting that beautiful coloring that you've done. Okay, now I'm going to add some yellow here. Put some on the highlights here. And we'll put a little bit of green on the leaves. And that's our key lime. These are great colors to use for any floral, and in addition to our fall. So that's the image you have when you're done. You could continue to add more glitter colors, but basically what you're doing is just trying to give you some highlights to your beautiful coloring. So you have completed card number 2, our Gerbera Daisy card.